So here's another very common problem on these ZE0 and AZE0 Leafs. The driver's door can get a bit saggy. You can see here how it's not lining up. That means that when you go to close it, what it does is it uses the door catch here and the angle in here to pull itself straight. I'll show you what I mean. So it's not lined up, but as it goes, it lines up and it clunks. You can also see here where it had the other issue with this trim sliding backwards, but all I had to do was remove that and refit it with a bit of silicone sealant behind it, and that stopped it moving, but the door is still jumping up and down. Now the long-term solution is to access the hinge bolts inside the A-pillar here, which means removing all of this trim to be able to get to the bolts, and then you can basically just pull the hinge backwards slightly. But the engineering solution is to undo these two nuts and then slide these C-shaped washers underneath here between the hinge plate and the door itself, and then that moves this section slightly away from the hinge, which lifts up that back corner. Now I make these just from a couple of galvanized penny washers, M8 penny washers, so I just cut the edge out to make them C-shaped, and then once those nuts are loosened off, the washers can be dropped over them and then the nuts done back up again. And I usually find that one washer underneath each bolt, they're quite thin, usually does the trick nicely. So I'll go on and get those slotted in, and then we'll see how we've done. So you can see here what I've done to start with is mark the position of the hinge with some white Tipp-Ex, because any forward to back movement now on these bolts and the door relative to the hinge would result in the bottom of the door being either too far in or too far out when the door's closed. But as you can see, I've loosened off the nuts and I've got the door wedged up so there's room to put these washers in behind. Try and do it one-handed and we'll see how we get on. So the whole idea with doing them as a C shape is that they should just slot in here, but I'm right-handed so I can't do it with holding the camera as well, so just gonna have to put it down for a moment. Okay, so that's the two washers dropped into place. All I'm going to do now is unwedge the door, do the bolts back up tight, and we'll see how that's improved the alignment on the top corner where it was drooping down. And here we go. Now, just with those washers in there, door lines up much better, closes very easy, none of the mechanical kind of forcing noises that it was making with that. So yeah, one of the common tricks with these is to try and just jack the bottom of the door up a bit and basically bend the door frame. But I'll be honest, I've actually tried this on this car, and a couple of weeks after doing it, it settles back down to where it came from. So for the want of a couple of washers just putting down the bottom there, it's perfect. Job done. And then just for belt and braces on the end of the job, I've got some of this universal spray grease, which I've sprayed onto the hinges and onto the door check strap pivot, sprayed onto both of them just to keep them working nice and smoothly.